Right, I think we should be live. I think you can just about see the screen, can't you? Yes, you can. I can just about see it on the thumbnail. So, anyway, guys, welcome to this announce stream. It's broken down into two parts, this one is. And so, as you can see, we're going to start off with IFMC IndyCar today. We're going to be talking about the changes that are coming up for this season's IFMC IndyCar, along with the calendar that we've got coming up as well. And then for the second part of the stream, we will have the Season 5 IFMC calendar announcement as well. So just be aware of that. As mentioned, it is separated into two parts, two different slideshows to go through. So I think without further ado, hello to people who are watching the stream. This will be uploaded later on YouTube for people who didn't get a chance to see it, of course. So just be aware of that. But anyway, let's get on then with the IFMC IndyCar stuff first of all. Might as well get these out of the way because, well, it's coming up to that time again where IndyCar will be starting. So, first stream then. In this presentation, what we're going to be talking about. As mentioned, the changes for Season 4-5, and the changes that we're going to be including are the cars, numbers, and a little bit of stuff about the tyre compounds as well. Which you saw a little bit last season but weren't really used to effect. So, and the second thing, of course, is the calendar to talk about as well, so that you guys know the races, because there are a load of changes from last season's calendar, because last season's calendar we had a load of, how can we put it, a load of glitches with most of the tracks. So there's a lot of changes in there, but hopefully it shouldn't spoil the entertainment. So, let's get on with the first change then, which is about the cars. Now, I was going to try and look for this, and I have managed to find one, because we will be having a new car shape for the cars. Unlike last season where we used the 2014 car shape, we'll be using the 2018 car shape. And what makes this car shape even special is that there's going to be three variants of car shape. There will be the road course car shape, which is what you can probably see in that image on the right. An oval one, so that's the flatter wings for like very high speed speedways, and then the short ovals, which are like the slower ones, like Phoenix, I think, as well. They'll have those variations. So, and of course, as a result, we'll have to give out a new template as a result, which I will be sending out to Ollie after the stream is finished. So I will be handing those out to him. So any of you who have a design in mind and want Ollie to create it, then please go and find him on Twitter. So they are the cars, and hopefully it should look pretty okay. You can just get a glimpse of how they looked on Grand Prix 3. So yeah, moving on from the 2014 car shape that we had last season. Next one is numbers. Now, this is the part where it gets a little bit more realistic, because like in the real life IndyCar season, unlike last season where I just gave drivers numbers, for IndyCar, the teams choose their own numbers for both cars, like in real life. So, like for example, with the Penske car in IndyCar, they have 2, 3, 12, and 22, but the main two being 2 and 3. And at Chip Ganassi, the main two numbers are 9 and 10. That's what you can choose your own numbers this time round. Now, it's first come, first serve, and the numbers you can choose between is 2 to 99. So please get choosing them on the DM of which two numbers you want. So first come, first serve, DM me on Twitter which two numbers you want on the car. It has to be between 2 and 99. And on top of that as well, also like in the real life IndyCar season, teams with the champion in them have the choice of either having number 1 or one of the team numbers that you've chosen. So, for example, in this season, of course, EMR have the champion in their car, which is Sebastian Bourdais. They have the choice of either having number 1 on his car or having one of his numbers that he's chosen. So, that's that really in terms of that. You can choose different numbers, well, your own numbers this time round, just to make it a little bit more realistic to the IFMC, to IndyCar itself. So, their numbers. The third thing is tyre compounds. Now, this is the third and final thing that has changed for this season. Now, I've made it well, I've taken the idea really and the inspiration from Yui's league really with GP4OC. In that how he does it, because he has Pirellis in his league, of course, which obviously have different colours, as you know, in F1. He chooses one compound for each race. That's what I'm going to do with the two compounds that are available with the Firestones. The red ones, of course, being the option tyre, which is obviously the soft tyre, and the hard tyre being the black ones called the prime tyres, as it once was when there was two compounds with Bridgestone. So softs and hards, and the way I've divided them, I'm going to divide them from the type of track, of course. So the soft tyres will be used on the road courses, and the hard tyres will be used on the oval courses. So basically the logic I've worked with is, obviously the oval courses, there's a lot more degradation on ovals than there are on road courses. So that's why I've gone with the harder tyre, because obviously it's less degradation than what the soft tyres can produce. And the soft tyres, I've just given them plainly to the road/street courses that we'll be having. So that's how I'm going to distribute the tyres for this season, because last season, as you remember, we had these two compounds, but I gave the hard tyres to the Honda powered teams and the soft tyres to the Chevrolet powered teams. So this time around, though, I'm going to switch it up a little bit so that each race will have a different compound. So, of course, the road courses will have the softs and the ovals the hards. Just a reminder, softs is the red one and hards are the black ones. So, as you can probably tell on the bottom left of your screen over there. So, they are the tyre compounds. And as mentioned, one tyre compound per race. It's kind of an idea that I've taken inspiration from Yui's league, GP4OC. So, that's how we're going to work things out in terms of those tyres. Now, on to the main bit of it, which is the Season 4-5 calendar. So, just to let you know, 10 weekends, as last season, with a load of changes, of course. And, of course, we do have, yet again, those two preseason tests back-to-back. First day being the road preseason test, and the second day, the oval preseason test. So, without further ado, let's get to have a look and see what the calendar is going to be like for Season 4-5. So, we'll start off then with the road course for the preseason test. Now, unlike last season where it was at Sonoma, because of the issues that track has, we'll be going to the road course variant of the Daytona International Speedway, specifically the one that the Daytona 24-hour race uses. You know, the one that Fernando Alonso raced that earlier this year. So after the bank there where the start-finish line is, you go right and then into this infield layout. We can probably just see from the overhead hangar anyway, where the road course leads to. And then, of course, towards the other side, it's got a bus stop chicane. So that's where we'll be going for the preseason test. The oval one is going to be the same as last season, the Texas Motor Speedway in, Texas. So that'll be where the oval one will be. And we usually get used to oval races because they're the most exciting races on the calendar. Of course, we usually have some close action. Just a note about for the calendar then, before we move out of the preseason test. Unlike last season where there was 6 road courses and 4 ovals, I've made sure they've evened out. So there will be 5 road courses this time and 5 ovals. So without further ado, let's get on to how the calendar will look then. So the first race of 10 will yet again, like last season, take place at Barber Motorsports Park in Alabama on the 25th to 26th of August 2018. So that's where it will start. Of course, the preseason tests will start on the 18th of August. The season starting on the 25th to 26th of August, a week after those 2 preseason tests have finished. So that's where the first race is going to be. Obviously, last season, of course, Joseph Newgarden won there. He'll be looking to replicate that if he can with his new team, Target Andy Graham Racing. Round 2 of the championship will take place at Daytona International Speedway for the road course variant. So where the road course preseason test was, it's going to be taking place for round 2 on the first 2 days of September. So the 1st to 2nd of September of 2018. And just so you know, of course, before the preseason test for IndyCar, there'll be a 2-week break between the end of season test for IFMC Season 4 and the preseason test for Season 4-5 of IndyCar. So that's where round 2 is going to end up. Round 3 was at one point Indianapolis 500, but due to the issues, I'm afraid to say, guys, there will not be an Indianapolis 500. I do apologise for that. I have tried to find the issues for it, but nothing has come out of it. So I'm afraid there won't be an Indianapolis 500 this time around, guys. Sorry, I did try and maybe replace it with maybe a Daytona 500 instead, like NASCAR use it. But even the oval course for that track doesn't even work. But for some reason, the road course does, which is odd. So, sorry about that, guys. There'll be no Indianapolis 500. I'll try and get it back for the future, but for now, there won't be one. Sorry, so round 3 of the championship will be taking place at a new venue, a new oval, at the ISM Raceway, better known as Phoenix, where IndyCar actually do their actual preseason test at for the oval. It will take place a week after Daytona, of course, on the 8th to 9th of September, and that will be the first race of the first oval race of season 4-5. It's a slow oval, so we'll probably be using the slow oval car shape for this one. So that's round 3 of the championship at Phoenix. Round 4 will take place at Texas Motor Speedway, where we had a very exciting race last season, and we hope for another one a week afterwards. Yet again, it will be round 4 on the 15th to 16th of September of 2018. So that's round 4 of the championship taking place at Texas, and hopefully it'll be a good race there. The second oval race of the season. The next weekend will take place at Bel Air Park. Now, what you may have noticed is it says round 5 and 6. Now, before you say have I made a typo error on that, I haven't. That is meant to be there because, like with the real life Grand Prix at Detroit, we will also be having 2 races there. Just like we had this past week with Bel Air Park having 2 races, we're also going to be having 2 races. Both of those races being 70 laps, like in real life, and they will take place for round 5 and 6, and it will take place across 3 days. So qualifying will take place on the 21st of September, on a Friday that is, and then the 2 races will take place on the Saturday and Sunday. Race 1 Saturday, race 2 Sunday. And the grid for race 2, unlike real life, because I feel like because of time that might be a little bit complicated, what I've decided to do for race 2's grid, I've now done the W's again, grid, the top 10 will get reversed from the race result from race 1. So, whatever the results will be for race 1, the top 10 will get reversed for race number 2, with the rest following as it did from the results from race 1. So, like with real life, I'm going to have 2 races around here at Bel Air Park, and hopefully it will be a very exciting race as well. So that's round 5 and 6 of the championship. Round 7, we'll go back to an oval and another new oval layout. This time the Talladega Super Speedway on the 29th to 30th of September, and that will be the penultimate oval in the calendar. So that's going to be round 7 of the championship, Talladega. And I keep forgetting where the state is at. I'll probably get that worked out when I'm updating the Wikaya a little bit later on. So that'll be round 7 of the championship. Don't go and tell motorsport.com that I've taken their photo there. I'm just doing something innocent here. I didn't even notice it had motorsport.com until now on the image. So round 8, the final oval. Or in fact, sorry, not the final oval. Sorry, I do apologise for that, guys. This is actually replacing... no wonder I had a dirt brain moment there. This is actually replacing the Denver race we had last season, because I want to try and make the ovals and road courses equal. So that will be the 3rd to last oval race, not the 2nd to last. This will be the 2nd to last race. So another new oval, Chicagoland Speedway in Chicago, Illinois, as it says in the title. So that will be round 8 of the championship on the 6th to 7th of October, so 3 days before my birthday. That will be round 8 of the championship and the penultimate oval race on the IndyCar calendar, and I think that will also use the fast oval one. So at this rate, I think we're only looking at one oval race that will have the short ovaled car shape. I'll have to do my research for all the tracks when it comes to ovals, of course, but they are. So that will be round 8 of the championship. Round 9 is the final oval race, and sorry for the huge image, I couldn't find a better image, but it will take place yet again at Atlanta Motor Speedway, where the championship flipped on its head nearly last season, and it will take place on the 13th and 14th of October at Atlanta Motor Speedway in Georgia, the final oval race of the season, and hopefully it will be another exciting race there, like it was last season as well, like every oval race is. So that's the final oval race. Now on to the final 2 races, which, as you may have predicted, is on road courses. So round 10 yet again, the penultimate race will take place at Watkins Glen International in Watkins Glen, New York. This definitely changed the championship around last season, of course, because as we all thought that at one point the EMRs wouldn't have had a chance for the championship, everything kicked off in this race, and as a result, it meant we had a very classic championship decider in Montreal last season. Round 10, the penultimate race, Watkins Glen, and hopefully it should be another classic around here for season 4-5. And then the final round, like it was last season, because it produced such an exciting race last season, it will take place at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve at Montreal, Quebec, Canada. That will be the final round of the championship in Canada. It produced a very exciting title finale, because at one point we thought Will Power might have got it, but in the end Bourdais just managed to snatch it off him by just one solitary point, I think it was, in the end between the pair of them. Will Power didn't even win a race. That's how impressive he was that year. So that will be the final race of the championship, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So there'll be 11 rounds in total across 10 weekends, 5 ovals and 5 road courses. It should be a very exciting championship. The point system will remain the same. However, there won't be that double points and qualifying points that we had last season, because, of course, we won't have the Indianapolis 500. So basically, that double header that we've got at Belle Isle Park kind of makes up for that in a way, just to add some more points into the mix. So there is the calendar then for the up-and-coming IFMC IndyCar season, which starts with pre-season testing on the 18th of August 2018, which is in just over 2 months' time. So do book that for the date. Of course, there'll be a 2-week break after the end of season test, and then we get straight on to IndyCar. Now, before I round this up, just a note, of course, from the time this live stream has come out, this is how the driver lineup and engines look at so far. As you can see, 4 teams have Honda engines and 2 teams have Chevrolet engines. We've obviously got a new team now in the form of Adrenaline Motorsports, run by Cesar Hernandez, after Red Bull IndyCar pulled out at the end of this season. And they are currently the drivers. There's still a few teams to announce a driver lineup and a few teams to announce their engines. Some of them will probably get determined by whoever gets the final Honda engine. That still needs to be determined, I think. That still needs to be announced by, if I look up, Silicon Valley Racing were the team that had the Honda engine last season, and they're still undecided about what engine they have. So if they decide that they want to ditch Honda for this season, somebody new will take it up, but everybody else, after the Honda engine is gone, everybody else will take the Chevrolet engine. So that's how the lineups currently look at for the moment in this up-and-coming IndyCar season. Still a few more to be confirmed, and of course the numbers will be confirmed. Probably a few will confirm a little bit later on after this stream as well, on who's going to get each number. So there we are then. That is what we have. So to conclude, new car shapes for season 4-5, the 2 oval car shapes, and of course the road course car shape based on the 2018 car shape, of course. Teams can choose 2 of their own numbers to represent each car. And I forgot to add as well, they can designate each driver to have a specific number. So, for example, if Eldorado decide to choose 9 and 10, they could say Dixon could have 9 and Power could have 10, or they could have Power to have 9 and Dixon have 10. It doesn't need to depend on where they finish in the Drivers' Championship this time to have those numbers. You can make that decision up as well on who will have each number. There will be 1 tyre compound per weekend, so the road courses having the soft tyres and the ovals having the hard tyre. 11 races, 10 weekends, 5 road courses, 5 ovals, and as of right now, there's 1 Honda engine left to go and 4 Chevrolet engines left to take up. So that's pretty much the conclusion then, and that is the end of part 1 for IFMC IndyCar. If you've got any questions, then please leave them on Twitter about anything that I might have missed out in terms of the up-and-coming IFMC IndyCar season. But they are the changes that are coming up for this up-and-coming season. As mentioned, I will hand the templates over to Oliver as soon as I... via email, that is as soon as I finish this live stream. So Ollie, if you're watching the stream, do look out for your Gmail once. Look on your email when you're finished. I don't know why I said Gmail. I don't know if he has a Gmail or not. Well, never mind. So that's that really. So that's the end of part 1. That's the IndyCar ones done. Now, the next one, of course, is the one I think that everybody's pretty much tuned in for, a majority of you that is, and that is for the IFMC Season 5 calendar. So, let's play this, and let's get on with it. So, we have the Season 5 IFMC calendar, and just to let you know, 20 races in total, so we're upping it from one race from 19 to 20, and I did make some last minute adjustments before I made this, so do be aware of that, as for some reason on my end, as I'm watching the Twitch stream right now, it is playing an advert. So that really helps, doesn't it? Not. So, yeah, that's that really. And so, let's have a look and see what the Season 5 calendar. In fact, I'll wait until this advert has gone away, which is for some reason advertising Alienware from my end. I don't know if you're getting that as well. And there we go then, so it's back on. I have no idea why it played an advert in the middle of it. Surely I thought Twitch doesn't do that, but hey whom. But let's get on with the calendar then. 20 races in total, and hopefully a good season up ahead as we move on to the V12 era in Season 5. So, first off, we need to go through the pre-season tests. Now, pre-season tests will yet again take place at the same venues as it was for this current season. So the first pre-season test will take place at the Circuit Paul Ricard in France on the 16th to 19th of November 2018. So a 2-week break after the IndyCar season is finished, and then we'll be on to the pre-season test. And in terms of templates for Season 5, I'll get them sent to Ollie as soon as the IndyCar ones are finished. And in terms of how many there will be, I'll say how many there are available for each team as soon as we get to the closing stages of the season, so in a few races' time. Pre-season test 2 after Paul Ricard will again take place at the Circuito DRF Angel Nieto, as it's now called, in Spain on the 23rd to 26th of November 2018. So there is where the second preseason test for the third successive season will be off to Jerez for a preseason test. So they are the preseason tests that we need to talk about. Now on to the main one, which is the calendar for the up and coming Season 5 IFMC season. So round 1 will take place as per usual at the Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne on the 1st to 2nd of December 2018. So that will be round 1 of the championship. Round 2. Well, in fact, before round 2, after that, we have a pre-season test for GP2, which will take place yet again at the Circuit de Neves Magny-Cours, a day after the Australian Grand Prix on the 3rd of December. So that's where GP2 will yet again, be heading for the Season 5 pre-season test for GP2. Then a week later, it will be at the Bahrain Grand Prix in Sakhir on the 7th to 9th of December 2018 for IFMC, and GP2 will be having its first weekend of the season. Just a note before anybody forget, GP2 and GP3 will still have the V10s, it's just the top class that will have the V12s, so just be aware of that in case you forgot at some point. But that is where the round 2 of the championship will be, at Sakhir. Round 3, which is maybe quite a controversial one, but again, I'm trying to keep it at every continent as I can, will be at the South African Grand Prix in Fikisa. Now, I know it didn't produce that much excitement last time around, but I want to still have a South African Grand Prix on the calendar because I want to be at every continent as possible. So unless we find a Kyle Army at one point, it will have to be at Fikisa, I'm afraid, which will take place a week after the Bahrain Grand Prix in Sakhir. So that'll be round 3 of the championship and no GP2 for that. Then after that, we have a 2-week break because of Christmas. And then we'll be back in January of 2019 for the European Grand Prix at Donington, which surprisingly produced quite an interesting race this past season. So that'll be round 4. However, unlike this current season where we had the support series, Donington will not have the support series. It will just have the top class in store for this one on the 5th to 6th of January. So if my knowledge serves me correct, it will be the first European track on the IFMC calendar since I think the Luxembourg Grand Prix at Oschersleben to not have feeder series action. So that is where the that's round 4, the European Grand Prix at Donington. No support series, is just the top class. And then a day after Donington, we will have the pre-season test for IFMC GP3 again at the Circuit de Neves Magny-Cours in France on the 7th of January 2019. So there we are, yet again at Magny-Cours. Then we get to the second European race of the season, the first weekend for IFMC GP3, with GP2 coming back at the Spanish Grand Prix in Catalonia on the 11th to 13th of January 2019. So that'll be round 5. Round 6 of the championship will be a returning track. And after so many requests and after a very successful mid-season test it had, it will once again, we will be returning to the Austrian Grand Prix in Spielberg for round 6 of the championship on the 18th to 20th of January 2019. That will be round 6 for season 5, and we will be returning to the Austrian Grand Prix after a season out because of the issues it had in season 3. But after a successful mid-season test, we're bringing it back. So round 6, the Austrian Grand Prix at Spielberg. Round 7. Before round 7, a day after that, we will have the mid-season test on the 25th of January 2019, a day after the Austrian Grand Prix. However, unlike season 4, it was at the Red Bull Ring. It will revert back to its usual location, the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. And on the 21st of January 2019, as mentioned, that will be for the mid-season test. Then afterwards, GP2 and GP3 will not be on for the next few weeks because, of course, IFMC will be jetting off to the American continent. And unlike these past seasons where GP2 and GP3 have had a 2-week break, they'll be having a 3-week break. Why? Because of a new race that's coming in. And after so many attempts and because of successful runs for IndyCar, I'm glad to say that round 7 of the championship will be taking place at the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. Montreal finally on the IFMC calendar, and not going to Mont-Tremblant at the usual place at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal on the 26th to 27th of January 2019. Round 7, the Canadian Grand Prix. Then round 8 will be at the United States Grand Prix in Austin, which played host to a controversial race during season 4, of course, on the 2nd to 3rd of February 2019. Hopefully we don't have that controversial race like we had this season for season 5. I'm guessing it'll be less likely considering IndyCar didn't have that issue. But we will wait and see, really. But that will be round 8 of the championship. Round 9 will be the Mexican Grand Prix in Mexico City on the 9th to 10th of February. And again, produced a very exciting race as it did for the last 2 seasons Mexico is produced. And I wouldn't be surprised if season 5 produces the goods again for the next time we go there, of course. So that will finish off the American races, of course, across North America. Then, after the Mexican Grand Prix, we'll be heading back to Europe. And round 10 will be the British Grand Prix at Silverstone on the 15th to 17th of February 2019, with GP2 and GP3 making a comeback after their 3-week break. And so Silverstone yet again playing host to the British Grand Prix, the second of 2 visits to the UK. And so Silverstone back on the calendar. And then a week out, that will play host to the halfway point of the season. And then a day afterwards, as per usual, we will have the Young Drivers Test at Silverstone on the 18th of February 2019. And, of course, we'll be seeing all the young talents come out for this one in the hope of trying to impress all the team bosses as best as possible, of course, for a potential drive in the future in either one of the 3 tiers. Maybe even IFMC IndyCar, who knows. Then, after that, a week later, we'll be jetting off to the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps. Of course, this season, Belgium was before Silverstone, but for Season 5, they'll switch places. Round 11, the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa on the 22nd to 24th of February 2019. Round 12, the French Grand Prix at Magny-Cours, which produced a very chaotic race in Season 4, as we know, thanks to that big rollover from Esteban Ocon after Felipe Massa punted him off at that first chicane. Thankfully, Esteban was okay for that. Hopefully, we don't see something like that again when we come back here for Season 5. That will take place on the first 3 days of March, on the 1st to 3rd of March 2019. So that will be round 12 of the championship. Round 13, the Hungarian Grand Prix in Budapest. Of course, we're going there this up-and-coming weekend for the new layout, the up-to-date layout of Budapest, of course. And hopefully that will produce a very exciting race. And that will be the same again for Season 5 on the 8th to 10th of March 2019. Round 14, the German Grand Prix at Hockenheim for the long variant, of course, the fast track. And on the 15th to 17th of March 2019. And as you've just seen there, Germany and Hungary switch places yet again for the first time since season 2, when Hungary was before Germany, but then the last 2 seasons Germany has been before Hungary, but they'll switch places for season 5 this time so that'll be round 14 of the championship. Round 15, the Italian Grand Prix at Monza on the 22nd to 24th of March, and for the up-to-date layout that we're going to this season. And this will be the first of 2 back-to-back Italy races, because as you've probably just guessed from me saying that, round 16 will take place at the San Marino Grand Prix in Imola on the 29th to 31st of March. So unlike this season where San Marino is before Italy, they'll switch places for season 5, so Monza will come before Imola. And that will be the penultimate race for GP3. GP3 will be having a final race after this. And then after round 16 of the championship, rather than going to round 17, after it was very successful in season 3, I'm glad to announce that there'll be another standalone event in season 5. However, unlike season 3, it will not be at Jerez. Instead, it will be at Paul Ricard in France for the standalone event. And as you can see, it's only going to be for GP2. Because I don't want to make GP3 have too much. I've got a limit for GP3 in that it'll probably just as a maximum have 10 race weekends, and it's already reached 9 by this point. GP2, the maximum I can give them is probably 12, and it's reached 10 at this point, so I can get away with them having a standalone event at the Circuit Paul Ricard on the 5th to 7th of April 2019. So IFMC, along with GP3, will be having a break for IFMC, a week break to allow GP2 to have the standalone event here at Paul Ricard. So expect hopefully a good race there, despite its reputation that this track has got. Then we'll be back to IFMC action because GP3 will be having 2 more weeks of a break along with that standalone event at GP2. As GP2 will be having a 2-week break after that because that will be their penultimate race. Round 17 will take place at the Brazilian Grand Prix in Sao Paulo on the 13th to 14th of April. A lot later than what it has been before in the past. But with all the races that we've got, it makes sense now to put it towards the back end of the season. Not the final race, I tried to make it, but I just thought logically it just wouldn't make sense this time around. Hopefully it will be a finale one day, but just not for season 5. But as mentioned, this calendar is provisional, so things could change. So just be aware of that. Same with the IndyCar one, that's also provisional as well. So for round 17, the Brazilian Grand Prix in Sao Paulo on the 13th and 14th of April 2019. Round 18, the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka. Yes, Suzuka making a return next season, thanks to its shareholding agreement with Fuji. Fuji hosting the Japanese Grand Prix in Season 4, but next season we'll be going back to Suzuka to just keep hold of that shareholder agreement on the 20th to 21st of April 2019, and that will play host to the third to last race of the championship. The penultimate race, as per usual, will take place at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in Yas Marina on the 26th to 28th of April, with GP2 and GP3 having their final weekend of the championship at Abu Dhabi. Hopefully we'll have a finale for those two as well, like we hope for this season as well. And then the final race of the championship will take place, like this season, at the Pacific Grand Prix in Adelaide on the 4th to 5th of May 2019. That will play host to the final race of the Season 5 championship, hopefully for a championship decider, and hopefully we'll be in for a very exciting Season 5 when we move to the V12 era. So that's the 20 races, and just to add on top of that as well, a week after the final race, we'll also, obviously, as per usual, have the end of season test yet again at the Yas Marina circuit on the 10th to 12th of May 2019 for all 3 categories. The top class on the 10th, GP2 the 11th, and GP3 on the 12th. So that is the calendar then for IFMC Season 5, and that's all I've got. So as a little reminder then of what the calendar looks like then, I'll just gloss over the pre-season tests. So they are the pre-season tests. Round 1 at Australia, pre-season test for GP2. Round 2 at Bahrain. Round 3 at South Africa. Then a 2-week break. Round 4 at Donington, pre-season test for GP3. Round 5 at Spain. Round 6 at Austria, mid-season test at Barcelona. Round 7 at Canada. Round 8 at the United States. Round 9 Mexico. Round 10 Silverstone. Then the Young Drivers Test the day after. Round 11 Belgium. Round 12 France. Round 13 Hungary. Round 14 Germany. Round 15 Italy. Round 16 San Marino. Then the standalone event for IFMC GP2 the week after. Then round 17 in Brazil, round 18 Japan in Suzuka, round 19 Abu Dhabi, and then the final race at the Pacific Grand Prix in Adelaide, with the end of season test taking place a week after. So there you have it, guys. That has been it for this announcement stream. I will put this up on YouTube after this stream is finished for anybody that didn't catch this up. And so thank you to all of you that have stuck around throughout this stream. And as mentioned, I'll hand over the IndyCar templates to Ollie as soon as I go off the air. But that has been it then, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions regarding the stream, especially for IndyCar, please leave them on Twitter. And please leave your the 2 numbers that you want on the IndyCars for the up-and-coming season. It's a first-come, first-served basis. So I will have a look at it, judged by the number of minutes it was sent against each other. So until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you enjoyed it. So thank you very much for watching. I've been JWF1, and I will see you guys this coming weekend for the Hungarian Grand Prix at Budapest for another packed weekend of IFMC. Until then, though, take care, and thank you for watching this announcement stream.